The first thing I look at with a cutting horse is their conformation. If they've got angular deformities or club feet or long pasterns or short pasterns, if they're straight hawked, cow hawked, different things like that, I try to take that into consideration, and then looking at their hooves in relationship to that. Basic shoeing wise, I try to find the apex of the frog, the buttress of the heels of the frog, commissures of the frog, and get a 50-50 ratio around the center of rotation of the coffin joint. I think having a 50-50 on those horses is pretty important. On their hind end, they use their hind end a lot more than a typical horse does. A lot of rearward motion and lateral movement. So I tend to fit a lot of their lateral heels a little bit more full to give them a little bit more support on their lateral heel. I fit them fairly tight on the inside. I box and safe all of my shoes. Safing, especially on the front end of a cutter, saves from interference. So I think that's pretty important. Horses in general, the foot migrates forward, and as you know, I try to stay ahead of the forward growth of the foot, and the palmar angle or plantar angle of the hind foot. If he's at a 0 today, in 3 weeks he's probably going to be negative, and so I try to stay a little bit ahead of the growth that way, to where when I come back in 6 weeks, he may be at a 0 then instead of a negative PA, or just maybe slightly over 50-50 growth forward AP wise. So that's a constant thing that I try to achieve in my shoeing, is to try to stay ahead of the growth, to where when I come back in 6 weeks, I'm not 60-40 the wrong way or 5 degrees negative on a front limb. So that's kind of what I try to do.